Time to start. Welcome to the first edition of the Digital Triathlon as a friendly competition we organize together with ILO, ETF, and the Skillman network. My name is Giovanni Crisonà. I'm representing here the Skillman Secretariat, and very welcome to everybody. Filippo Del Nino here with me. We are going to introduce this special occasion to discuss about digitization of centers of vocational excellence. We will do it together with some outstanding experts and our colleagues from some COVE and companies that produce solutions for our COVEs. So I'm very excited and I'm feeling this moment because we are working from several months discussions and reflecting on what to present, how could be better to do. And finally, we have thought to this sort of game, but of course, it's a friendly meeting where we are not putting in competition anyone. We are just presenting things, and then you from participant side, you will have the possibility to vote what we are presenting today here and to express your comments during the presentation. So the idea that was behind of this was to discuss how digital trends can influence the development of our COVEs. And the objective we have is not to make solutions, but mostly to make questions how we could implement the solution that we have available. And also we will see how some of the COVEs already implemented these solutions. Like today, we will have this surprise to see how the colleagues have already implemented solutions available on the market, transforming these solutions in concrete applications for their own needs. So we are talking about the centers of vocational excellence that belong to our networks. We have the ENE network, we have the Skillman network. So we have these compositions that also include several stakeholders on territorial level. Now, we hope that the participation is not only by the leaders of the COVEs, but even by the other part that compose the COVE level. So we have the idea to support the transformation of the work environment, putting the work environment more in connection with our TVET centers, and to create an ambient for learning that is more digital. And in this regard, what Skillman promote also is the idea of creating skills rings that really embed the digital solutions that are introduced in the TVET environment to connect this environment with the working environment, so the production sites. We have 4 occasions for this year to discuss these topics. And the first one is today with digital labs, virtual reality, augmented reality for education, and the other solutions that you will see. Then we will have another meeting, the Digital Triathlon number 2, to introduce programming and robotics in education. Then the number 3 will be based on distant learning platforms and their implementation in the COVEs. And finally, for the 4th meeting of this year, we have Internet of Things and Learning Factories. So we will invite experts every time, or we will invite producers, designers of solutions, and COVEs that have implemented the solution. So I'm at the end of this presentation just to say that we are worldwide connected with our network and the ENE network. So we have participants from all over the world. We are very happy to have this occasion to share with you the solutions. Then the discussion will be managed also through the chat. So please write your comments, and thank you very much for being here. Filippo, now floor is yours to introduce the guest and to launch the game.
Thank you very much, Giovanni. So as Giovanni just said, the topic today is digital labs, virtual reality and augmented reality for education. We have 3 cases of best practices, 2 companies and a center of excellence. Before introducing the cases and give the floor to the first one, I would quickly like to introduce our expert panel. We have 2 experts with a very long history and experience in the area of the digital education who will provide contribution following each presentation and support the discussion in the question and answer session. The first one is Dr. Bernard Dumont, who is a senior international consultant involved for 40 years on ICT in education, distance learning, teacher training, and quality in training, with a background in mathematics and computer science. Involved in several projects on ICT and teacher training in developing countries in Africa, in the Mediterranean area, in Central and Eastern Europe, and in Asia. The second one is also an ETF colleague, it's Fabio Nascimbeni, Senior Fellow of the European Distance and E-Learning Network. He has been active in the field of learning, innovation, and digital education since 1998 by designing and coordinating more than 40 research and innovation projects across Europe, Latin America, and the Caribbean, in the South Mediterranean and Southeast Asia. As you have seen, we have tried to identify experts who could really provide an input taking in consideration the different contexts of different regions in the world and could provide support in the discussion of the different best practice case. So the 3 cases today are Eon Reality with Marcin Kazica, Mimbus with Cory de la Cruz and Quentin Jordan, and the ITS Vita with Anna Maria Oliva. So without hesitation, I pass the floor to Marcin for the first presentation. And thank you very much for your presence today.
Hi, hello. Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to be on front of you virtually and present some of the solutions that at Eon Reality, at the company that I'm representing, we have. I will be sharing my screen right now. I just want to be sure that all the elements technically are working. And so I want to focus on the educational aspects and related to the laboratories and abilities to utilize a virtual and augmented reality for education, especially for the technical and vocational educational trainings within the one flow of the work, which is a kind of learn, train, perform, and collaborate with the use and support of the technology. I just want to also at the very beginning send my apologies to you all from my colleague Nicola Bersanetti, who's supposed to do this presentation. Unfortunately, due to some health-related issues, he cannot be joining us today. That's why I'm kind of working a little bit as a substitution, which I hope I will be able to cover the necessary aspect. But I want to make also sure that you guys will have ability, if you're interested, to contact Nicola directly. So as I mentioned, just to introduce myself, I'm working at a company called Eon Reality. I'm based in Poland, though for the last 13 years I lived in the United Kingdom and supported the digital transformation from Eon side in that region. Formally, I'm a director of global education and training, and where my background is mechanical engineer and science 2003-2004. I'm trying to work in the fields of virtual and augmented reality, especially from a point of view of a production and technical education. Just a few words maybe at the beginning. I would like to focus on a company called the Eon Reality. Some of you might have heard, some of you might have not heard about that name. The company has been established in 1999 with his headquarters in California, but it's right now being available as a global company supporting clients across the regions in implementation and use of the technology, virtual and augmented reality, especially in the education. The reason for that is because as a company, as a leading company in the we focus on the knowledge transfer, and we believe that the knowledge is a human right and should be accessible, affordable, and convenient to every person on the planet. That's why as a technical company, we create, provide, deploy, and supports our partners in implementing the use of the VR, virtual and augmented reality solutions and our extended reality platform to build up the capacity to use VR and AR in knowledge transfer. Right now, our company is, as I mentioned, is already a global company with multiple examples of implementation of solutions around the world. As you can see, for a last 23 years plus, we work with the industry partners. So our initial area was focused on the oil and gas and the training and operators training, technical trainings related to those industries, but also many others. Recently, I mean, more than a decade ago, but already a kind of focus on the academical institutions, working with various technical universities and all kind of higher and mid-level education institutions around the world, including some of them in Europe, in Africa, and also United States, as well as in Asia. So covering all of the continents in that sense, and also working with the governments, local governments, national rollouts as well, together with some of the partners, including and I know Bernard represents or been supporting some of the visions also related to the USAID. As an American company, we are part of the United States Agency for International Development rollout in some of the countries as well. Maybe a few words at the beginning, and I'm conscious on the time frame, so I know I will not be able to cover all of the aspects of that, but I want to focus on the aspects of why virtual reality in education, why virtual reality laboratories in education. So I will allow myself to play this quick video, which I hope you will be able to see and hear quite well. It's based on the PwC.
We have conducted a study on virtual reality learning. We found learners in VR required less time to learn. They had higher emotional connection to the content, higher confidence, and were less distracted during the training.
So I hope that was well transmitted. So with that information, we know many of the potential benefits of using a virtual reality, augmented reality as well in training. So it's on one hand his ability to present the objects in the natural way, three-dimensional way, in being immersed into the environments. On the other hand, it's also from a soft skills learning. It builds this ability to learn faster, being more confident, having a better connection with the content and with the knowledge that is supposed to be transferred with the solution of XR, and also the 4 times more focus on the e-learning peers. So that's what especially in the current age of a digital communication as we're doing right now, it's extremely important that we not only use already amazing technology like video conference, streaming, etc., but also being able, with use of those technologies, increase the ability to collaborate, communicate, and accept the different kind of knowledge. So with all of that in mind, there are a few challenges that in a company we're trying to focus on, and we identifying around across all different partners that we're working with. So one of the challenge with the virtual reality is that it's still people thinking that there is a perception, and potentially true perception for many, that the virtual reality is relatively advanced technology, that it's hard to develop for. And it's true that many of the application are custom application, and many people do see this process as difficult to create content. It requires a specific technical knowledge on the game engines to be able to develop solutions. And also with the fact of existing a multiple type of the solutions that are right now, phones, tablets, different kind of headset and manufacturers, it's also a question of being able to produce for all those devices. So there is one of the elements is related to the challenge of how can the knowledge educator or even a learner create a content to share to be able to collaborate with. The second challenge I want to address today also is a lack of educational content. So that's another thing, which is partly related to the first point, is the fact that is a creation of the content itself, which usually has to be the three-dimensional or maybe 360 formats of the spherical photography. It's usually represented as a difficult concept, and also injecting the knowledge inside that is another level. So that's another topic I want to demonstrate, how with the products and how with the solutions from Eon Reality we are tackling this challenge as well. And the third one is this pandemic effect, which is about the lack of the focus and ability to be able to engage and being immersed into these elements of a knowledge transfer to make sure it's really effective. So those are the three major challenges that from educational enterprise perspective we see. So our approach to that is to create a cloud-based solution called the Eon XR that is consisting of a library of the content. So it already comes with a library of the content. It consists the ability to be integrated, and I think also in some of the future workshops might be also worth to talk about it as a platform on the integration and with the learning management systems via LTI protocols. It is also open for ability to easy without the within the self-service format, self-create and creating a self-directed learning involved in multiple pedagogical concepts related to the flipped classroom, self-directed approach to the content, as well as the collaborative learning as well via the meeting functionality. And from a point of view of creating content and sharing the content, also providing a layer that allows the creators to share the contents with their audience, or vice versa, learners to create the content and share with the teachers as well, so and with the peers to be able to do it via the marketplace. And I'm a time constraint, of course, so I don't want to play all of the materials, but I will be more than happy to see, guys, if you will be interested, of course, to try a little bit. I'm going to send some of the chat messages with the links, which in my opinion it's worth to, if you will be interested in learning more on the chat messages. I posted the 3 links. I hope that will be possible also to provide them to everybody as a links to easy access. But the platform is available, and you can start with the platform straight away. And the platform, and I'll play a few things here. So platform is already available on the multiple type of the devices, and I'll mute this so it's not too disrupting. It's focused on the ability to learn to transfer the technology based on the real scale objects being embedded into our real environments, with the use of various types of the technology, preliminarily focus on what is the most advanced right now in the visualization is augmented reality, but also, as I mentioned, also working on the most sold and most available virtual reality headsets. So from that perspective, we're coming to the process of a knowledge transfer to make it easier, make it accessible, make it very simple to create, and also inject the knowledge based on the various activities like text, audio, video that already exists, and the documents that are already into the training, but also supported with the 3D and 360 environments to put people into the place and also assess them via quizzes, via 3D recordings when the people have to really perform the activities, and I would like to demonstrate some of that as well. So that means that the creating a content right now, which is a very important, do not require any coding experience, and it's prepared to make it easy and make it very fast, directly creating from your mobile device. That is right now, I believe, one of the largest used, and we call it a smart device. So focusing on ability to use a mobile device, and so create once, deploy and use multiple devices. That's from the perspective of that, as well as building the content using a digital twins, using already some of the devices, giving example, the latest Apple devices, as well as many other devices, starting to have multiple cameras, which allows us to create and capture a content, virtual reality laboratories, being able to capture the environments and build up the full experiences for our learners, for the audiences, based on the 3D scanning, enhancements with the knowledge, with the multimedia, with the contextual knowledge, once again based on the similar formats of injecting audio, video, text information, PDF documents, images, as well as quizzes, assessment, locate activity, align it on the real situation, a real scenario, so the students can be at their homes, or they could be aligning and injecting knowledge even to the laboratory existing equipment, which extremely is supportive in when you want to learn where, how, and what should be done, how it should be performed into the system, and building up their own library of digital twins in the matters of the seconds based on the scanning and annotating and building the knowledge. With that, let me just kind of move quickly to the next thing. Sorry for that quick delay. And then another elements to kind of tackle there is the ability to build that social connection between the content and the people who are experiencing the content. So we also have this solution called the Eon Special Meetings, which allows with a full body avatar the people to join, collaborate, and communicate. So same thing as we're doing right now as a video conference, which, as you can see, sometimes will be more or less interactive from a point of view of learners being focused on listening or watching. But in this case, if we will use our devices, either VR devices or, very importantly, phones that approximately 98% of the population already have access to, being able to collaborate and have multiple people talk using audio, using video, using demonstration, grab, move, assess, record the different actions, and being able to play them in the live scenario, as well as play them into at home, at the self-training scenario when we are practicing different operations and different technical or non-technical aspects of the topic that we've been assessing. So as I said, it's available from the phone, where we can with multiple people see what different people do, see instructions, record that instruction. So in a way, being able to assess, present, and utilize the concepts of the supported education via the virtual reality and immersiveness. And moving forward, so as I said before, I want to go over these topics on the learn, train, perform, and collaborate. So within the learn, we have already the library, as I mentioned before. We can easily create our own library by using scans, taking pictures, and using what we already know. So creating a virtual reality is not a problem. Another thing is we have an import functionality. So any CAD, DCC, digital content creation software, any 3D models, and we have partnerships with a company like Sketchfab, like CG Trader, to be able to import existing 3D models, 3D assets into the library, as well as building and experiences via simple 360 capturing with the cameras like that, and being able to bring that into the process. When the trainer or the learner or a person who would like to share the experience is able to go and do a walk and talk and record information, inject the knowledge, and starting it with providing it to the others for performing and 3D assessment, when the people can in a way kind of being assessed and going with the steps, step-by-step procedures, and replicating that procedures, as you can see here on the screen. And either it could be technical and then assess and see the report. That report will be stored and saved into the cloud-based learning management system and available for the reuse and for the further discussions. As I already stated, our focus is education, and it's both the K-12 education as well as TVET education, or as they call it in the United States, the CTE education. So and also working with the higher education as well. So there is a vast opportunity for various organizations to utilize and support. And I'm not going to say to fully remove the existing and traditional learning, because that's not our aim, but support the existing learning methods and learning pedagogy with the new aspect and new approach to the immersiveness, engagement on the education via use of virtual and augmented reality experiences that can be easily created easily share, easily provide and use for assess. So learn, train, perform, and collaborate within the various kind of topics that you can create in matters of a seconds. Based on the 3D model, you can create various types of the content, and being able, either you want to present the workshop or you want to present some, for instance, an interior of an airplane, or you want to present the power lines, systems, or laboratory and place the different expensive equipment in your garden, in your living room, as we had to do it in a way with our imagination so far for the last 2 years of distance education in pandemia. So all of that is already available, as well as, I mean, as I said before, expensive equipment, building even the classroom that the people can walk and be in an environment anywhere and see the virtual and augmented reality and assess. So that's where we're going into, and also going more to the aspects of the twinning, of creating a virtual presentation of the object based on the real type data that we can scan, bring the objects to life in matters of seconds, bring the virtual tours, virtual demonstrations that can be played on the mobile device. And let me go further, and also to be able to collaborate with multiple people when the person's using, once again repeating this, but I think that's the key message in here, that we don't have to, we can use, if we want to use, a specialized devices. And I can tell you for the fact that according to the studies, 82% of the higher education institution, or all education institutions potentially, already have the access to the virtual reality technology, but they never moved further away than from the testing phase. So what we are trying to do is to provide the education with ability that you can use all kind of devices, including a specialized virtual reality headsets, to be able to collaborate, to be able to join and be immersed into various learning scenarios. And as per the case studies, from a point of view how we deploying and how we using it, is there are lots of different organizations, as I said, around the world. So usually it's a massive or a group enrollment when we enroll 7,000 students, 750 smart workers, and we provide the access to the library, but very important, we're providing the ability to create own content and own library. And we were working here, some of the examples with the LACC, Los Angeles City College, with the Mohawk College in Canada, as well as working on the national rollout with USAID and few ministerial offices and universities in Morocco, in deploying that for their education and doing a digital transformation together with multiple partners. And one of the case study here, and I will play in a moment a very short introduction from our partner. It's a University of Business and Technology in Kosovo that they are incorporating this solution, and the usage growth already massively already in 2020. So we are few years into implementation process, when the students, faculty members, and the general public in that area are able to utilize it and increase the knowledge transfer process, increase the speed of transferring the knowledge. Somehow this doesn't play, but with that, I just want to kind of highlight the fact that if you will have more questions, then my colleague Nicola Bersanetti will be available for you, myself as well. But I'm also open for any questions if you guys have anything to add to discuss, please. Thank you very much.
You hear me? Yeah. So just a couple of things. Well, the presentation was very rich. You might want to have a look back at the presentation. You will find all the content of the triathlon on the Skillman webpage. So in case you have doubts, you want to check it again. Also for the contacts of Marcin or Mr. Bersanetti, you can find them there. I've appreciated a lot the presentation. It was very rich. You managed to stay in 20 minutes. I like them a lot. Examples from Kosovo is one of the partner countries that ETF works with. It's a good example to show that you don't necessarily have to start from the richest countries and the top universities. I mean, these applications can be used at all levels by all type of institutions. Just before giving the floor to our two experts, just remind you that you can start putting your questions in the question and answer session on the Skillman page. And I pass the floor to Bernardo or Fabio or any comment they might have on the presentation.
Bernard, please. To you.
Okay, it was very, very interesting, and to see all the topics you can help. That was interesting for me because I am, of course, mainly involved in scientific topics, and it's very important for learners to be able to see, but also to work with. And this is important, not only in mathematics, but in many science topics. But I have just a question I want to know, because in Europe we have a problem, but it's that is not exactly the same in US. It's a problem of language. You mentioned that one of the challenges is the difficulty to create things, and you have created a lot of things. But because you are from Poland, that I guess you have the same problems than in France and in many countries in Europe. Is our teachers, even sometimes in universities, they are not very at ease with English, and so they need to adapt for their own language. And how do you manage the problem of language when you are developing things, product, and all these nice things? How can you transfer this to other languages, to other contexts? This, for me, is an important thing to open your production to other countries.
That's perfect. If I can also share a screen once again for a moment, just to hide. And as I said, we are a global company, and either we like it or not, the fact, of course, there is a need for localization. Localization on multiple levels. One is a language, language ability to kind of, even though it's a visual knowledge, and we all know that the presenting a knowledge via glass is another element, but it's also important to be sure that we can support it with the local language. So we have from the point of view of software and the solution, the platform is available in multiple languages already. So that's the A thing. The second thing is, whenever you're creating a content based on the 3D asset, and I'm doing that right now live from within my phone. So for instance, teaching, I don't know, about skin anatomy, we provide ability to choose the different language you want to create with, but also within the creation process, and I hope I will be able to show you that very quickly. When creating, I said we're using existing materials. It's an audio, it's a video, it's a text, it's a documents, images, and so on. So when creating, building this knowledge, it's a user who is able to create own annotation with own language. For instance, in Polish, it's and I can put that information here, as well as adding the audio or text to speech. I can see here information. Voila. Example. And choosing a multiple language, I don't know how well you will be able to see it, but we have already a multiple languages here available that if I would choose that this is, let's say, semi-French, please excuse me, and even though I hope you will be able to hear it.
Voilà, ici est un exemple.
And it will be possible to use a text-to-speech with the multiple languages, which means the creating a content, the creator decides on this content, as well as when using own voice recording, we can put the content in that language and also have that available into library. So that's already being tackled, and that's an important thing to have. And of course, we're already looking into that. Thank you very much for that question.
Thank you. It's very, very interesting. Thank you very much.
My turn. So thank you very much. Also very interesting. Actually, I know here in reality, I'm from Bologna in Italy, where we have a center, a development center there. So I know some people who work there. Actually, in my in my mind for this triathlon, actually, I'm thinking of different dimensions on which to, I don't want to say to assess, but to look at the different things like your work. And I have four things. So on the innovation potential, I think, as we all know, there is a pretty broad. On the depth of learning as well, as you show, this is coming more and more. This proof of concept of extended reality seems to actually touch some specific things in our brain, so it works. What I like very much is the easiness and the speed of adoption. If I understood well, you can actually do all of that through a mobile or through a normal computer. That is actually what impressed me also last time I met some colleagues of yours, the fact that you can really run this without any device. Or maybe you can start with the computer and then you can get the device in a second moment, which also helps a bit the cultural adaptation. I have one question, which is on the fourth dimension, that is on the scalability. Now you show the example of Morocco, but I saw there that there is the USAID behind. So it works. It can be run at a big scale, but you need, in this case, some specific development money. Now my question is, in order for this whole thing to work, as you've put it, I guess it's not just, co-creation needs time. Co-creation, especially by students, needs a lot of devotion by teachers, small changes in the curriculum. So it's not just you put the thing there and it works. And this time needs to be covered somehow. So in terms of scalability, how do you see this technology, these solutions in a few years from now? You see them as a, let's say, in the realm of excellence, which is still very good, of the centers of excellence that we discussed before, or do you honestly see also them possibly a bit more mainstream? Not in 50 years, in 3 to 5 years.
So thank you very much for that question. So you're absolutely right. So the scalability right now, even from a business model, we looked into the aspect of providing the solution as a bunch of the licenses that are coming to the organization that supports to rollout. But the separate thing is right now, it's a cloud-based solution. It's a solution that allows the people to access from any place, anyhow, on any device from agnostic point of view, which means a scalability very much will depend on the users. And we are more focused from a technical point of view also to provide it to the education or the border between the organized or education and the self-education is starting to blend. Because of the solutions and the platforms like YouTube, lots of people can learn skills via educational systems. So very often the educational system is to kind of support that process and organize it, when they are actually learning also outside of the educational system, very often based on the self-learning. So from the scalability point of view, I see there is a massive potential for those technologies as the fact of being used from your personal device and being right now accessed and for many, and considering that 98% of people, even in developing countries with the issues or challenges related to the access to the electricity, access to the computer, and they have usually without the restriction access to the mobile devices, I do believe from that perspective there is no problem. From an education point of view and scalability, we have something called a 9-step implementation process. So it's not only a sales process or kind of a providing a process, but also a trainer format. So the scalability very much on a regional scale, the way we see it is about providing a solution, training how to use the solution, but very important aspect is a self-service. So being able to provide to the creators ability to create, share, and deploy, as well as provide the students ability to create, build. So I think in that level, I see it's going to be used by multiple, but it also depends on a few players from a technical point of view. I do believe that we are ahead of the major breakthrough related to the virtual reality headset. So that's one of the things. And there is a technology still changing and that the people are, how to say it, hesitant to invest. But we are less hesitant to invest in new phones because we know it's not going to change the standards. So I think the standards are also one of the things that are right now very heavily developed by the Coronas group and others. So I do see it massive potential for the rollout. and being able to use it for general public as well.
Thank you very much, Martin. I think we need to move to the next presentation. I would like to say that this final discussion on scalability and costing is super interesting. We don't have the time here. We might re-invite you in another context for going deeper in this discussion, because it's one of the main issues. I mean, how to actually deal with the cost and the complexity of implementation. I'll pass the floor now to our colleague from Mimbus, Corey de la Cruz and Quentin Jordan, for their presentation.
I think we have a PowerPoint to share. Oh, here it is. So, hello everybody. I want to start by thanking you for the invitation. We're really happy to present our workshop that we will be talking about. And so to start with, I would like to take a minute to see the state of the workforce market. So in 2020, there were about 2 million workers missing, and it caused an output of $188 billion that were not being able to be done. And you can see the evolution of these numbers during the years. In 2030, it would be 8 million workers that would be missing. So that's one thing we wanted to work on. To give you a few examples of shortage occupations in Europe, we are missing plumbers, truck drivers, carpenters, electricians, welders, and farmers. That's all over Europe, but it's also true over the world. So it's quite difficult to train them and attract new workforce on these kind of trades. And this is where Mimbus was created, because we are convinced that the new technologies and immersive learning can fill the gap between the offer and the demand on the workforce market, especially in training. Like the numbers that were exposed in the previous presentations are known in this field. We know that we can make training 4 times more efficient. The trainees are much more emotionally attached to the content they learn, and it stays for longer. So we are really convinced of the interests that immersive learning can have. Laurent D'Adalto, our founder, works on this topic, has been working on this topic for over 20 years. And we started Mimbus in 2011. And today we are proud to say that we equipped 2,000 centers all over the world. We have 23 employees, and we are present in over 50 countries over the world. We have also worked with big names in the industry like HTC, Microsoft. We are really supported at political and technological levels. So that's a great thing for us. To tell you a bit more about Mimbus, our expertise is to develop and integrate new pedagogical and immersive uses dedicated to trade discovery and vocational training. Today, I will be insisting on the trade discovery aspect. And just to give you a few key industries we work in, it's automotive sector, industrial, building trades, aeronautic industry, and the agri-food sector as well. Here's the slide I was missing earlier on. I'm sure most of you know this graphic with the difference between virtual reality, mixed reality, and augmented reality. So I will not spend more time on this. And anyway, you can have access to the PowerPoint later if you need it. Just to talk a bit more about virtual reality, we all know there are different fields of use with this technology. For example, we can use it in entertainment, training, medicine and research, building and construction. Culture as well is really developing at this culture are really using immersive technologies to attract more people, because it's something that is getting lost over the time. And to come back to immersive learning, we know that it can favorize learning and skill development. It enables to integrate captures and sensors that we would not have with the normal training. We are really fan of learning by doing and failing. We are convinced that it's when you try and try and try again that the gesture or the capacities, you memorize them better. It allows you as well to discover new skills in safe environments. That can be really useful, especially in construction, medicine, industrial as well sectors. That can be dangerous and stressful for the trainees. And these kind of environments allow them to learn without stress and be much more focused on the task than on the environment that can harm them. It can also give you focused feedback. That's really important to know where you are good and what you need to improve. That's also due to the captures and the sensors implemented in the simulators. So for the trainer, it's a real asset to help his trainees, to tell him exactly where he's not that good, where he could improve, and how he can improve. And also it creates engagement because of the immersion, because also of the scores you can get when you finish an exercise. You will always want to beat that score and get better and better, and that's how you learn really well. I would like to focus on Mimbus Discover. This is a trade discovery solution, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in the use case. The solution allows to discover different trades, different environments, as mechanics, construction, plumber, industrial maintenance, and more like helping people, etc. The goal is really to allow young people to discover trades in a safe way, as I said earlier on, and to maybe create vocations, give an interest to manual trades that is getting lost over the time, and that we really need on the market, that are really needed on the market. And we think this is a good way to promote this kind of trades. The use case I want to present is with Augmented. It's one of our partners, and the workshop we created is to visit Uly's classes with Mimbus Discover. Uly's classes in France are classes in normal schools, high schools, where disabled students can learn as well. So they are part of the school like every other class, but they stay. They are all in the same class. And the thing is, we wanted to show that virtual reality can be a very good mean to talk to this specific public, because they don't receive informations like we do, and the virtual side of the solution is what makes it more efficient for them. So there were different goals for this workshop. The first one was to widen the field of possibilities for this public. I don't know in other places, but in France, there are specific trades where we usually that we usually present to them. So we can often find them in the same trades, and the goal of this workshop was to show them the other possibilities and show them that they were capable to do the same jobs as everybody. We also wanted to check the interest of using VR with people with autism disorder, and to finish, we wanted to raise curiosity around manual trades and create new vocations, because we are sure that this support can be really interesting for this public. Just to do a little stop on virtual reality and autism. So autism is a spectrum disorder. Is an atypical neurodevelopmental disorder. It's characterized by impairments on several domains, like social communication and language, social interaction, and maintenance of restricted and repetitive behaviors, interests, and activities. So they need adapted tools to favorize their engagement and limit social interactions and communication. And that's where virtual reality is really important. Just to give you a few feedbacks we got from this workshop, the director of college came to see the facilitator and told him this workshop is amazing and you should generalize its application to other classes, not just ULIS classes. But we think all classes that just before high school need to pass on this solution, because the stock technology has the advantage that they doesn't know it well. The young people are used to make discover with the telephone, the video game, etc. And this time it's the contrary, because they discover and they're not making discover. So that's a real asset for younger people. They also need a facilitator to help the learners during the immersions, because real teachers won't do it. They already do a lot and they can't add this to their program, so they need someone to come and do these workshops. And the great thing is, once a learner took off the helmet, I went to see her teacher and said, I want to do an internship in mechanics. And that's where we think it takes sense, because the goal was to widen the possibilities, and that's the goal we achieved. So we were really proud of that. Why did it work? In therapeutic context, the use of VR helps people with autism disorder to learn social and daily life skills, mainly because it focuses their attention on a task. It favorizes their motivation through real and virtual encouragement, and it gives direct and clear instructions and directions to them. That's what can lose them sometimes. It's because they feel the instructions are not direct and not clear. So that's how virtual reality can help. It also gives them a safe and controlled and supervised place to learn. And once again, it allows them to repeat tasks and fail and try again and fail and try again, and until they succeed. So that's a great aspect. Thanks for your attention. Maybe everything wasn't really clear, but anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much. I pass the floor to our two experts for their comments. And I remind you that you can always write questions for the speakers in the page or the Skillman page on question and answer. Bernard?
Okay, I begin if you want. Okay, I am very interested in your approach to make visible and to make interest, to open mind about some trades and what it's done, what they are going to do with it, and things like that to make interest. But I would like to know if your experience is mainly, I think, on young people, on young students, because for this problem of knowing new trades and things like that, I see two publics that can be interested in. The first is, as we have seen in Europe with the pandemic, is some people working in, for example, in construction or in restaurant, hotels, and so on. They were for many months out of work, and some of them began to do something else. And they are not young people. And we have another public interesting is, as you know, the trend is now to have to expect people to work when they are getting older. You know, it's still my kind of situation, but some people are in the situation that they are losing their job, but they are not at the age to be retired. And especially in France, for example, for people over 50, if they lose a job, it's very difficult to find another job. So there is a situation between 50, for example, and now we are, the political decision will be about what do you want to be retired, 65, 64, or something like that. So for these people, it could be interesting to discover possibilities, but have you any experience about how to use this kind of tool with people who are not used to this kind of things? They are not used with video games and things like that. And do you have any experience for this kind of publics?
Maybe start to answer your question. Well, the use case we presented right now, it's about the young people and specifically on the people who are disabled or present some particular pathological disease. But indeed, our technologies, specifically virtual technology or augmented technology, which are focused on learning, can be also used on adult people. Mainly, we do use this kind of technology on adults and not on younger. It can be on the field of the first experience in learning in secondary school or maybe later, or also in reconversion. Right now, we're working with AFPA on a use case specifically on the question of occupational integration. So how do you assess their skills, their interests, and how do you place them in jobs they can fit in? So so this technology can be used to other population as well, and it's not specifically on younger. What is interesting in the young people is that they can be more comfortable to use this kind of technology compared to other people, but I don't think is an issue. And with some of our clients who can be adults or young people or whatever, they do use this kind of technology in classroom and keep the same interest of using this kind of technology, like we presented it earlier, to increase motivation or to give them concrete feedback of their performance or this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's not this technology is not only specialized for young people, but all kind of people as well. But it's also and clearly as a question of usability and to know how to use this kind of technology, and that's why you need for the youngster as well for the other kind of population people to help them to use technology and to know how to use it. So it's not mainly focused in my site, not mainly focused on the young people, at least. I'm not sure if.
Thank you very much. Very interesting exchange. Fabio, do you have any comment?
Yes, a quick one actually. Congratulations, actually applying this to career guidance and career exploration is actually super interesting. I hadn't thought about it. It's really can really be a breakthrough. My question, I see the process as very simple. So you have this thing in a school. You have somebody helping the kids. The kids do it. The principal is happy, and everything is fine. My question is, what could go wrong? It seems so easy to me that, but for sure there might be some resistances or some issues that you might have faced in some of these processes. So to me, when I hear a story where nothing seems to be problematic, I'm always intrigued. So the question is, what did or what could go wrong?
Well, you want to go, Corey, or go?
Yeah, I can give a first part of the answer, and you can complete if it's needed. So this workshop was done in 12 high schools. So it's not just one school, and over 100 disabled students went through the helmet, and one of them couldn't support the virtual reality. So that's the possibility. It's really low, but there's a possibility that the student or learner doesn't support virtuality, especially with this publics that can be a bit more anxious than normal people. So that's the first thing that could go wrong is that it does the people don't support the technology. But I think it's quite low. Maybe Quentin, you have more.
Yeah, I can go on. Well, it's about the question of cyber sickness and motion sickness. So it can happen to the users when they are in immersion and using this kind of headsets. Well, it's the first problem, but with the time and the evolution, the research on the topic, it will go lower and lower. Another problem we have, and it's more about my topic in itself, of studies, it's about resistance to change, and it doesn't affect the users in fact. It doesn't affect the learners generally, it more affects the staff of the teaching organization. So you can face some resistance, specifically about the teachers, because they don't know how to use this kind of technology. They don't know what the benefits they can have to use this technology in class, and how they have to change their curriculum to enter properly this kind of technology and in the long term. So, so one of the most resistance or problem we can face when we sell or when we want to implement this kind of technology in institution is the resistance of the staff. And for that, you need to accompany them, you need to train them, you need to listen to them in their fears in order to convince them and help them to use it in their own activities. So I believe it's one of the most critical resistance that we need to face and to know how in order to have a solution that is scalable and then be implemented in all kind of organization.
Thank you. That's what I meant, actually. It's
yeah. That's why we worked at Man with Swift work out on Swift Members Academy, how to manage the trainers and the staff to know how properly to use it in their classroom. and their curriculum. But it's a huge.
You run the paradox risk of motivating so much the learners, but having the intermediaries motivated. So it'd be a nice paradox.
But, that's generally it's what we speak on virtual technology, on virtual reality, or other immersive technology. We say like, the users are happy to use it, because it's fun. You are motivated when you are in the simulation. You learn by doing and by playing with games, and it's nice. But you don't see how it can change the organization of the class and how it can change the way you learn from the digital perspective. So it's a problem we need to address on and to solve in order to implement this technology in large scales.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this interesting discussions. We need to move to the third speaker of today. We are moving from developers to users. So I pass the floor to Anna Maria Oliva from ITS Vita, Italy. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I share my presentation. Okay, can you confirm that you see my slide? So, good afternoon. First of all, thanks for this invitation. I'm Anna Maria Oliva and I work as project coordinator for the Vita ITS Foundation. The Vita ITS Foundation is a Niger Technical Institute. Our scope is to train students in the life science sector. As many of you already know, the fourth industrial revolution is changing the workplace. Being a Niger Technical Institute working in the education and training field, we decide to dedicate part of our lessons to the enhancer of the digital skills required by the professional figures of the future. For this reason, we decide to organize during our lessons practical project work with the aim to put into practice what students have learned during the frontal lesson. The Pharma Facility 4.0 is one of these project work that has been developed by 23 of our students. This project is based on the learning by doing process, and through this, our students try to solve a business problem through the implementation of the 4.0 technology. The methodology used during this process is the design thinking methodology. Thanks to this innovative approach, our students have the opportunity to develop on their own innovative solutions. For those who don't know this approach, the design thinking involves 5 design phases that are the empathy phase, the definition phase, the ideation phase, and at least the prototyping and testing phase. During the first step, our students try to better know the company needs. During the empathy phase, our students have interviewed some employees of the Tuscany Life Sciences company, the company that decided to collaborate with us during this project. For those who don't know this company, Tuscany Life Sciences company is working in the field of the life science research. Once the interviews have been done, our students have tried to better understand the business problem that needs to be solved. The challenge that our students faced during this phase is the following. How can we improve the learning experience within Tuscany Life Sciences company by making it more engaging and efficient, and how it's possible to speed up the learning processes? Once the problem is defined, our students have tried to identify all possible solutions to the business problem. During this phase, the best ideas for sustainability and efficiency will be then prototyped and tested in the company. This project work is was developed by our students in 30 hours of lessons. And the Augmented Code Assistant is the solution that our guys have identified and then prototype and test in the company. This solution allows employees to have a virtual tutor always available in the company. The Augmented Code Assistant is a solution that can be used in the company to facilitate many activities, such as activities that involve the use of a specific machine, laboratories activities, or, as in the case of the prototype that our guys have realized, dressing activities. The dressing activities scheduled within a pharmaceutical company to go into an aseptic area. Wearing the augmented reality headset and framing the QR code located in the department, the employee will have the opportunity to be guided in the dressing process, have the opportunity to carry out on their own any type of activity without the help from other people. During this project, our students have realized different type of prototype. The first type of prototype that we have realized is a prototype on a paper mode. Then they have realized on the Microsoft Dynamics Guide 365 application the various holograms and the tutorial video that then be inserted in our application. Now I'm going to show you a short video that summarize all the work that our guys have done during this project. And in addition to this, in this video, you can see the prototype that our guys have realized and then prototyped and tested in the company. So through this project, our students were able to develop on their own an innovative solution that was then adopted by the company that decided to collaborate with us during this project. But I think that through this project, our students have had the opportunity to enhancement their digital skills. Learning at the same time sustainable and over time replicable learning methodologies, such as the design thinking approach. I think that the generations have changed. New technology, the increasing use of social network, the fact that all informations are always available on our smartphones. All these factors have conditioned the level of attention of young people. Some data shows that the last generations have lower levels of attention than previous generation. So I think that that it's important that all educational institutions introduce within them new training methodologies with the aim to increase the level of attention and the level of involvement of our students. The idea of I think that the idea of organizing practical project work with where students lead the project instead of undergoing it, I think that can be a good idea for to increase this level of involvement and interest. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you very much. Very, very interesting. It's a completely different perspective. So we are moving from the school and the students to the company. Pass the floor to Bernardo Fabio from the comments. And again, if somebody wants to put some question in the question and answer, they're free to do it.
Just to remind, we have 5 minutes for this.
Yes,
Okay.
You start.
I will be brief. I just want to know how these 26 students work together. Do they share the different action to do to produce things, or is it collaboration from the beginning to the end? And second thing is on what they have done. Is this work based on difficulties for some employees to follow some rules? So is this kind of mistakes were already noticed before, and this solution was a way to solve this in training?
Yeah. Today I realized that we are certainly a small reality compared to the others that they have presented today. During this project, our goal as a foundation is to introduce during the frontal lesson new way to learn and to teach. The difficulty that we have experimented during this project work is our capacity to give to our students all tools that allows them to develop on their own the various phases of the design thinking methodology. This is our difficulty. Another difficulty that our students have experimented during this project is the fact that the solution that they have identified during this project is not easy to use in a small environment. The virtual reality that our students have presented to facilitate the various activities in a company. The limit is that when they use this headset in a small environment, the employee can have a difficult to move around a specific machine.
Thank you very much. Fabio?
Okay, my turn now. If I understand well, you referred to it as a project, so it was an experience limited. The question is now that you experimented with this kind of solutions and these new approaches, will you invest in this in the future, maybe through other funding projects or some other activities, or was this one example, let's say, teaching innovation example, or did you find something more thanks to this, not only technology, but the very nice approach that you use?
Yeah, our goals as a foundation is certainly in the next years to bring vocational training to the next level. We want to to introduce within all training courses that we will realize new training methodologies such as the pharmacy facility, the project work that is realized with the aim to solve a specific business problem, but we want also introduce different kind of project similar to this for the methodology that we decide to use, but we want to introduce new training methodologies with the aim to create a more engaging and involvement experience. The most important project that our foundation, for example, have developed in recent years is the VitaLab project. The VitaLab is an educational laboratory that was inaugurated before the pandemic phase. And this was certainly been a key investment for our foundation because thanks to this project, we have been able to bring the vocational training to the next level. In this lab designed for our students, you can find innovative tools such as the augmented reality headset, the virtual reality headset, 3D scanners and printers, high-tech gloves that can return a virtual tactile sensations. And for example, if you are in this lab and you are wearing a virtual reality headset, and with this you simulate to take a test tube from a cold room, wearing these gloves, you have the opportunity to feel a cold sensation. And these instrumentations are able to induce the learning by doing process, that methodology that we have used during this previous project. And I think that this represents the added value of the VitaLab project. We have the opportunity to create this lab because as a foundation we obtain the funding from the Per Fazer Fund. And yeah, I think that is our goal is to in the next years is to introduce new training methodologies, and we would also like to organize courses in all the Italian regions, not only in Tuscany as in this moment.
Thank you very much. I think the last information is very interesting. I mean, ITS are one of the areas of excellence in Italy, but they are usually regionally based. So sometimes we do have discrepancies from regions to regions. So I'm happy to hear that some coordination to this regard. Before passing the floor to Giovanni for the follow-up of the voting and the closing, I would like to thank all the participants, all the speakers. As you have seen, it's always difficult to compare examples because the scale is different, the side is different from which you analyze this virtual reality and augmented reality dimensions. But we're going to ask your opinion so that we can pick up one and present the case in a small publication that we will circulate and disseminate in our network of Skillman and ENE. Giovanni. Audio.
Yes, sorry. Let's have a small talk among each other. We can have a small comment, before. I don't want to influence the votation, of course, but I was impressed about the presentations, the industry, the experts, and the designers, the learners that design the solutions. Wow. But for me, Filippo, every time I try to access to this environment, I know how much it's tiring because you put the classes, then you try to develop or to visit the solutions produced by someone, and then you see that, for example, 2 hours are passed, and you are very tired. You feel tired. So there is anyway a distance among us and the technology, because I would like to take the occasion also, for example, Filippo, to suggest to our deans, to our directors, to put the glasses, to try to develop, because what they did in Siena, for example, this experience where the learners have developed their own ambient, their own environment and learning environment, I think is meaningful. And if I compare this with the intentions of the industry that try to enter with these solutions, I see that the facility, how you can create the solutions, brings to this, that the learner then must be involved directly in the development. So the suggestion is, put these glasses on your face and try to experiment this. So I was very much impressed, Filippo. What is your feeling about this that we have seen? Because now we are going to ask which is the preferred solution for the meeting of today. But what's your reaction?
I don't know. I mean, it really depends. If you want to look at the long-term perspective and you want to see what could be the potential developments and what you have in a center of excellence in 20 years, and you look at the more ambitious elements, or if you look at, okay, what could I do in the coming 6 months? So that really depends on your perspective on this type of technologies. I think, I mean, starting step by step, it's a good process, but at the same time, you need some strategic perspective. I mean, if you are center of excellence and you have a strategic development plan, you clearly have to have a medium-term objective, because then you have to plan how to actually allocate resources and experiment and look for partnership. The costing element of these technologies is a particular vicious one, in the sense that they are expensive, but at the same time, you can save a lot of money because you use these type of realities instead of real equipment. So there's a lot of analysis to be done, and clearly setting up medium-term objectives would help the Center of Excellence to set up more realistic objectives.
I agree. I would say that the selection we did is not exclusive. Means that, of course, we have other candidates, and we are receiving candidates to be able to present the COVES and other solutions existing. So, of course, we cannot receive all because we have limited time, limited space. But we wish to continue next year with this initiative, so there will be room for more organizations to present themselves. We are very happy to receive these candidatures. I would like to remember to all participants that this possibility is given from the platform. You have the link there. You can go, click, and make your candidatures to be in these presentations for the next times. So, Filippo, it's time for voting now, I think. Okay. So we have, I see the director that is preparing the Slido link, so you can take your telephone now. It's not virtual reality. You can use your application, take the picture, and go to vote. So what we are going to vote now, we are just making this friendly decision to see what are our opinion about the different aspects of the solutions that we have seen here today. Of course, they are not representing only themselves as solution in itself. They are also representing an approach, a sort of approach, minimalist approach, just a COVE that try to do something directly on the field, and industrial approaches, research, and so on. So what you prefer, what you think that could be better for your COVE. So we have different ratings that we can give. We will proceed with the first one, and of course that the winner will be recorded as the winner, but we will have publishing at the end of this experience together, And all the presentations will be reported in the publish, will be explained, will be provided with all the information, just to help then our coaches that want to go deep in this drive to implement the solutions for virtual reality, augmented reality, and so on. So I see that Fondazione ITS Vita on innovation and impact on learning processes is proceeding on top. Okay, so we have
we have 3 questions actually. So we are looking at innovation, we're looking at the sustainability. So I mean, after this, we will be able to actually score the different initiative from different point of view.
So now we are on, because the director is going on. Now he's passed to sustainability. That is the second variable that we are going to investigate. I don't know if we can go back to make a, but no, we are just voting. Okay, thank you very much, Alessandro. So now the sustainability is, I think, something that we have not explained very well in terms of information provided, because we can understand that a COVE can implement the ITS Vita solution because they are a COVE. But what about the Ion Reality or the Mimbus offer to provide something that can be afforded by the COVEs? So which kind of difficulties and costs they can have? In some cases, we have understood the technological point, but I didn't get information from the costs. So I think this is also an important part of the capacity of the COVEs to implement the proposed solutions. But anyway,
it's a key component. I mean, at a certain point, we had to squeeze a bit the presentation. So this is a very interesting element that we could address in a future webinar. I think it requires a specific allocation for that because it's quite complex. There's also a lot of negotiation because especially the companies, they can work with one center of excellence, but they can also work at regional level or even a national level through establishment of a partnership with the ministry, and the costs are not the same in relation to the different choices of cooperation. As I mentioned before, the costing has to be calculated, taking into consideration also what are the advantages, what are the services that you can provide that you could not provide differently, or what are the savings that you can make by not purchasing parts of equipments that you can actually experiment with virtual reality. So it is not an easy assessment. And again, you need to look at the medium long-term cost efficiency of the introduction of these technologies. So that's why I think it actually deserves an in-depth discussion. I think the different companies have provided some elements about it. They couldn't go into the detail, but I think that the information that we receive is where we have to base ourselves for assessing this element.
It's good. So third is the usability and the simplicity for teachers and learners in implementing the solutions. And of course, probably if you know the solutions that are presented here, you are in a better position to decide which one is the more easy to be used. But of course, we have seen enough to express our preferences. I see Mimbus now is at the first place. Ion Reality is remained behind, and third place for ITS Vita. I think this is a big question mark. I think you have to try to use the solutions to say if they are easy or not for you, because we also have a different way to learn and different ways to access to tools. Probably something that is difficult for me, for you, Filippo, is very easy. I don't know.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, again, that's why we call this as a sort of gaming element. It's impossible to provide an in-depth assessment of these complex systems and projects through a short presentation. But we just wanted to add this different element to compare to a normal webinar, also to thank our speakers and potentially give a small visibility to their activities. So let's see. I mean, we will actually make an average and use the three voting for identifying the best practice case that actually won. Our colleague Alessandro will soon start to make the calculation.
Okay. Let's see the final result, Filippo. Now, I would remember you that we worked many months to have this small interaction involving these outstanding speakers, experts, these multinational companies and the COVES, and yeah, we are here now. We are voting, Filippo. So we have the three results, but I think the director is preparing the media of the averages of the voting, the results, and then someone is still voting, so they are not ended. So what will happen then?
Alessandro will let us know. As soon as he let us know to you, you will actually announce the winner, and then we will thank everybody for their participation.
And I think Alessandro has also to present something before to leave. So we are waiting for the winner, and we are waiting for some information because of the next meetings. And then I would also, in this waiting time, I would also remember to all participants that we are going to announce the next edition of the Skillman International Forum. It will be in autumn or winter, but will be probably in Sardinia, Italy this year. We are going to fix this in the next days in July, and then we will announce for participation. So stay tuned for this. So, Alessandro, do we have any result from the calculation form that we can show? Because I see here Nimbus for usability is first, but I don't know in the other slides, in the other variables, it was the first one, and also which is the final result. I'm very curious to know it. So I see Fabio that is laughing in the backstage. I can bring you on, Fabio, and also Bernard. So
I'm very curious, actually. It's all very close. It's gonna be fun.
So I think we have seen outstanding presentations. Of course, I was not having any indecision in this. So I was expecting this. But in effect, every time that you see a presentation like this, wow, you say, what good solutions are available for our COVES? So here we are seeing something, but I can read. I have seen. The first is Ion Reality that is conquesting the first position to remain in our book as the best reference solution today. Of course, that we have very much appreciated also the Fondazione ITS Vita and the Nimbus that are anyway in our book, in our publishing, that will be also described and will be provided with all the information, because our COVES, our network, can access to them and can interact to implement their proposals. So Filippo, Bernard, and Fabio.
Again, I would just thanks everybody for the participation. We don't have a date yet for the next episode of the Triathlon. We will communicate through our channels as soon as we have one. It's going to be after the summer. And
as a symbolic prize for the winner, actually, we are running within our community of innovative educators at ETF a webinar specifically on extended realities for educators. So we could invite actually Aeon to present their work there as a sort of a symbolic prize for this triathlon, if you agree.
Thank you very much.
Good. Of course.
Thank you very much. We'll
I think it will be interesting to let them present in more detail through something, but to go deeper in one or two examples. So that will be very interesting.
Perfect.
Good. So, Alessandro, do we have any slide to be launched at the end or not? Yes, we have. Okay, good. So this is our
words. Okay, just a few words before closing today's event. Talking about innovation, digitization, and virtual reality, we wanted to create this virtual space where we could learn more about the best practices we met today and which we'll present in the next session. It's a work in progress. It means that with the next sessions, new stands will be added to this environment. At the moment, you can use the link that you find in the Learn Skillman platform, and I will share later also in the chat. Once you are in, you no need to register. You just get into the platform. You have a platform information desk where you can have more information. Also watch the videos of the session and some extra contents. If you want, you can use this go-to menu to move, or move also with arrows and mouse and your keyboard. Using the go-to menu, you can visit the stand of the best practices we saw today. Just some examples. For now, we have 3 best practices, Nimbus, in reality for each ITS beta. For each stand, you can watch explanatory videos, visit the website for.
So Alessandro, this is a little surprise. This is a little surprise that we are giving to our guests, and they can access to this environment.
It's always available. There's only an actual limitation on the number of contemporary viewers, but if you see a warning message that the limit has been reached, do not hesitate to connect later. It's always available, and you can enjoy this experience. Also, let us know your feedback. Your feedback are more than welcome, and we can improve this environment and maybe use for next events.
Grande Alessandro. Our director, Alessandro, was behind the scenery, but he was driving us during the world program. Thank you very much. And this is our digital triathlon environment that we are proposing for exploration to you. And from now to the next meeting, you will find all the contents presented here, all the materials, the videos and recording of today. So we are very glad that you have followed us, and we hope to, and we wish to have you next time online, collaborating for building this digital perception, this perception of digitization for TVET institutes and for COVES in particular. Thank you very much to all the participants. Thank you very much to the experts that have contributed with their own outstanding remarks. Thanks to the presenters. They have, of course, brought their own point of views that for us are relevant to understand what the market is providing and what are the solutions that we can bring to the attention to the COVES managers and directors. And so thank you very much to the staff and to all the participants that from home have spent their time to build together this knowledge. Thanks so much.
Thank you.